Hey team, this is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com. I wanted to make today's video about how to improve upon your 4-hour, 30-minute marathon pace, because I know a lot of athletes around the world are trying to sustain that 10-minute and 18-second per mile pace, or 6 minutes and 28 seconds per, or 6 minutes and 24 seconds per kilometer for the entire duration of your race. And I fully understand the difficulties of the marathon. I had many ups and downs over the years. I started running marathons in 2002 and ran my personal best of 2 hours, 19 minutes and 35 seconds in 2007 at the California International Marathon. And so I understand how difficult being able to sustain pace for that entire duration of that race is. And so I just wanted to share with you some of the things that worked for me, and hopefully, as you know, if you're new to the channel, or if you're a routine watcher of the videos that I make, that you'll understand some of these concepts. But I think it's really important to continue to remind the athletes that are watching these videos, especially you, if you're seeking to run 4:29 or faster for the marathon distance, to keep these things in mind. I always talk about the importance of hydrating properly in the race, practicing that in your long runs. You know, over the years, I would always drop off a water bottle about every 3 miles or every 5 kilometers for my long runs, and I would practice picking them up and drinking the contents of the water bottles, or whatever it is, you know, whether it's Powerade or Gatorade or whatever type of fluid that you'd like. You have to practice hydrating better in your races if you want to run a better marathon, because it's not just about the physiological training and the physical, you know, aerobic and anaerobic training that we do that's going to produce a great marathon time. A lot of times athletes will do everything right in training in terms of doing the track sessions and doing the long runs and tempo runs, but they are doing other things that are more than likely not helping them in the long run. That, you know, for example, running too many miles, too many kilometers too slow in training. If you run high volume and you just do, you know, consistent volume, yes, you're going to be very strong endurance-wise. You're going to have a very strong aerobic base, but again, you have to train anaerobically as well. Anaerobically meaning without oxygen, training at paces that are very, very fast, training at near or far below that sub 4-hour, 30-minute marathon pace. That's how you get to a point where you can sustain it for a longer period of time. It's improving your lactate tolerance. So definitely still putting in that consistent volume is important, but also paying attention to the other factors that go into running a marathon under 4 hours and 30 minutes. Again, if you increase the percentage of the weekly volume that you're doing and training it closer down toward around 9-minute mile pace, or closer to around 5:30 per kilometer pace, you know, whether that's doing intervals, longer intervals, fartlek type workouts where you're running 1 minute hard, followed by 1 minute easy, and doing workouts of say 20 reps of that. So 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy, 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy, and continuing to develop your anaerobic capability. That in the long run is also going to help you run 4:29 for the marathon or faster. You have to do longer tempo runs as well. Short tempo runs are great for milers and 3K athletes, 5K athletes, but when you're running a marathon, again, it's 42.2 kilometers or 26.2 miles. You have to extend the amount of time you're training at your anaerobic threshold, the point where we start to build up lactic acid in the bloodstream, and improving your lactate tolerance. Running a 4-hour, 29-minute marathon is not an easy task. It's a very fast time. It's a time that a lot of athletes around the world are trying to run. They want to break that 4-hour, 30-minute marathon barrier and hold that sub 4-hour 30-minute marathon pace longer and more, you know, more economically, more efficiently than their competition. It's very important to do your long runs, stay consistent on, you know, doing when you're running those long runs, but also not just running easy long runs every single weekend. always alternate a longer varied pace long run where you're running at paces that are at race pace, or a mixture of running at race pace 20 to 30 seconds slower than race pace, so very relaxed, much more sustainable, relaxed, easy pace. And then dropping, like in the middle of those long runs, say you're doing a 20 miler, every fourth mile drop a sub 9-minute mile right in the middle of that long run. Again, these are paces that you're not going to sustain in the marathon, but again, it's going to get that 10-minute and 18-second per mile pace, or 6-minute and 24-second kilometer pace to feel easier in the race. And again, because you're at race pace in that effort, you're going to continually build up higher amounts of lactic acid during the race. But again, if you're training at, near, and far below goal race pace, if you're running longer tempo runs, preferably, in my opinion, and this is how I train athletes online with the RunDreamAchieve running courses and training plans, we work toward getting that tempo run out toward 10 miles and longer. You don't start off doing tempo runs that far, but if you can start off doing them anywhere from 3 miles to 4 miles, spending three weeks at those particular durations, and then as your body becomes, you become more anaerobically fit, your heart doesn't have to work quite as hard, you get that huge physiological boost from doing those consistent tempo runs every single weekend. Then we start focusing on doing longer tempo runs, getting it out toward around 16 kilometers or 10 miles, or out toward around 12 to 14 miles in length. The longer time you can spend at your anaerobic threshold, that's going to build your strength and stamina that you need in the marathon. You have to get accustomed to making sub 4 hour 30-minute marathon pace to feel more at a moderate effort rather than an anaerobic effort. It's going to hurt in the race. It's tough to hold race pace regardless of what time you're going for, whether you're trying to run under 4 hours and 30 minutes for the marathon, or you're trying to run under 2 hours and 30 minutes for the marathon. The same fundamentals are the same. You have to practice proper hydration in the race. You have to do a proper taper. I believe in a 10-day taper. Dropping your volume 50 to 60% 10 days out from your main race is plenty of time to recover from all the hard anaerobic and aerobic training that you're doing. And again, changing up how you're doing your long runs. When I ran under 2 hours and 20 minutes, I didn't just do that overnight. It took several weekends, several months of consistent training where I was doing pace, easy long runs, as well as long runs that were right around 90% of my maximum heart rate, anywhere from 88 to 90%. When I was in my 30s, when I ran my PR of 2:19:35, I was 31 years old. I was doing my long runs at 160 beats per minute, and that factors into around 88% of my maximum heart rate. A good indication of what your max heart rate is, and this is just a guesstimate, is to take your age and subtract it by 220. So say you're 20 years old, your max heart rate is going to be right around 200 beats per minute. And again, it's going to vary from age, and it's just a guesstimate. Again, you want to, when you're focusing on heart rate monitor training, which I'm a big believer of, easy pace is right around 130 to 150 beats per minute. Moderate is around 150 to 160, and hard is anywhere from around 160 to 168. And then you start getting into anaerobic threshold effort, where you're running closer to around 168 to 174. VO2 max effort, which is sprint paces pretty much, is anywhere from really 174 beats per minute to your max heart rate. And so in your long runs, if you want to run sub 4 hour 30-minute marathon pace longer, more effectively, more efficiently, start doing your long runs at a faster pace. Again, you first want to build that aerobic base first of easy relaxed mileage, and preferably around 4 weeks of just relaxed mileage. No tempo runs, no track sessions. And then as you build that base of easy relaxed mileage, then start focusing on specific marathon training. And how we do that with the running courses and running training plans on RunDreamAchieve.com is we implement 3-week segments of specific intensities where we move, the body. We train the athlete to run at a specific pace for 3 to 4 weeks. Then we move to the next intensity. And the fact that we also focus on increasing the paces of the intensities, but lowering the recovery between each one of your intervals. Whether you're doing fartlek workouts, you're doing repeat 800s on the track, earlier on when you're not quite as fit, you're going to be running those right around 412 to 414. As you get very, very fit, we start moving it down under 4 minutes per 800. And these are just examples of, if you're doing your long runs, spend some time running at 10:17 to 10:20 between that pace per mile. If you're doing a 20 miler, get to a point where you can do around 12 miles at that effort, right around at goal sub 4 hour 30-minute marathon pace. And then as you get fitter, as you move into that 16-week block of training, the further you get into that, the pace is gonna increase. You always want to alternate one long, hard, varied pace long run followed the next week by an easy jog, relaxed long run. If you want to hold sub 4 hour 30-minute marathon pace more effectively too, you have to start paying attention to how fast you're running on your easy days. You need to get beyond worrying about what pace per mile or pace per kilometer you're running on your easy days. Easy days are there for a reason. So jog on those days. You shouldn't be worrying about pace on easy days. Start focusing on just relaxed, easy jogging on those days, because when you get to the workouts where we have you doing repeat miles or repeat Ks, or you're doing longer intervals on the roads, whether those are fartleks. I'm a big believer in doing like 1K hard, 1K easy, or maybe 2K hard, 1K easy. Over the years I've trained with sub 210 marathoners where we would run, Gilbert Ruto is an example of it. He ran under 2 hours and 10 minutes. One workout with him I did was running 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy for an hour. And I never was able to hold 1 hour with him. I would go about 40 minutes of that. And then he just dust me. I mean, he's a sub 210 guy, but he taught me the importance of running, and that 1 minute hard was right around sub 5 minute mile pace or close to it. And then the 1 minute easy was around 6:30 to sub 6:30, per mile pace. So very aggressive running. And you have to set up your training to suit your needs and to help you get the best results as well. Whether that's running, if you're doing a one minute hard, 1 minute easy, that 1 minute hard might be goal sub 4 hour 30-minute marathon pace, 10 minute and 17 second, or 10:18 per mile, or 6 minute and 24 second per kilometer pace. 1K hard, 1K easy. The easy pace might be 8 minutes per kilometer pace. So again, you have to find out what works best for you, and also look at your training in the past. Look at your training logs. What percentage of your training have you been spending at, near, or far below sub 4 hour 30-minute marathon pace, and start adjusting how you're doing that. I'm a big believer in just investing in yourself. I have training plans for athletes that are trying to break 4 hours and 30 minutes for the marathon, and I have a running course specifically built for athletes that are trying to break this barrier. So I hope this video was helpful. If there's anything else that I can cover, or any other specific areas of this particular topic you need covered, leave me a comment in the comment section below. I'll either make another video or just answer your question. I've always reached out to the athletes that are seeking answers and seeking to get to that next level in their training. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I wish you all the best in your training, and I'll talk to you in the next video.